Well, the weekend is now the weekend of wrestling. We have stack of wrestling anywhere in the world, not only here in the States, but in Japan or any part of the country. So, we got GCW's latest event that took place on Friday in Las Vegas, Nevada. Off the rails with interesting matches, and of course, Matt Cardona was there, but it wasn't much of a big deal. We even got to Move Pro Wrestling's latest Chocopro show, number 146, with an interesting match. We got, of course, famous Yoshi wrestler Kiora Yonemyama taking on Sayaka, and of course, we cannot forget the biggest event of the summer, WWE's SummerSlam. So, let's get started with another episode of Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I'm your host, J-Rod here. So, let's begin with GCW's latest event called Off the Rails. This took place this past Friday. Opening match was a six-way scramble match. So, here's who they have. We have Trey Lamar versus Ninja Mac versus Matt Vandegrift versus Lucas Riley versus Eli Everfly, and of course, finally, the Juice Juventud Guerrera. I have to say this was the biggest surprise for me because normally we see Juvi wrestle down in Mexico, but it's great that he is now wrestling here in the States. I hope GCW brings him back again. Um, he probably will be the most funnest wrestler we can see down there. And I have to say, a six-way scramble match, anything could happen. I'm talking about crazy stuff. Mostly when I see guys like Ninja Mac, he's one of those guys that surprises me. But when it comes to Hoovy, he's the one guy people probably expected, oh, he's going to win. I mean, that is probably obvious. But of course, that's when he did the Hoovy driver onto, what's his name, Lucas Riley, and he pinned him the 1, 2, 3. I couldn't make out what he was saying in the promo because I don't think we didn't have any good reception with the PA or whatever. But it was a pretty good match. Now let's talk about the GCW World Title, which is right now it's in shame because Matt Cardona somehow was able to beat the King. Now we know many GCW hardcore fans don't feel excited because there was still the obvious question: is this going that he's going to defend this match in a death match style or traditional style? Now, if you probably say to me, what is the difference? There is always a difference. The traditional is just simple, like uh, pinfall or submission, that sort of thing. Death match, anything could happen. Use all the toys that there is, and that's what people expected. But there was no opponent, so there was another guy named Sam Stackhouse who I seen at another wrestling, but I think he posed as a fan. But it was a pretty good match to show entertainment. But of course, he came up short when Matt Cardona actually applied the radio silence onto him, retaining the title. Now, I don't know who will be the most likely contender to face Matt Cardona and bring that title back to GCW. So we'll see what happens then. The next match, we have Jimmy Lloyd versus Dark Sheik. I have to say, Dark Sheik has been one impressive wrestler to watch. Now, I the last time she was, you saw how brutal the match Dark Sheik was in with versus Nick Gage. That was more intense, and Jimmy Lloyd is not even different. But Dark Sheik could hang with people like them, and I'm like thinking, no matter how things are get, Dark Sheik will not stop. But sooner or later, Dark Sheik will lose the match, and that's exactly what happened. Um, Jimmy Lloyd won the match, and I have to say, Dark Sheik, really impressive. Now, do I think Dark Sheik has what it takes to, how to say, continue more death matches? I don't know, because a part of me feels like I don't know if Dark Sheik has the experience, but Sheik is doing a pretty good job, even though she lost the match. But that's how it goes. Next match we got Nick Wayne versus Dante Leon. Now I'm very impressed with Dante Leon on when I've seen many of the GCW events, but I think this one really impressed me when he did like some sort of a flip cutter near the end of the match. I was like, what the hell? I did not expect that, but it was a pretty good moment. Now you can say to me, Dark Leon, those who probably follow Dark Leon, you probably tell me he's impressive. I'm like, yeah, but I got to need to know him more. But if you know any good matches that I haven't seen yet with Dante Leon, please leave them in the comments down below. I need to see those. Now the next match we got Alley Catch. No, scratch that. I skipped a few. Yes, we got Effie versus Rock and Roll Ricky Morton. Yes, I have to say it was pretty interesting. Now, I've I've known the Rock and Roll Express since I was a kid. I remember back when they were having the NWA and WWE back in the time. But seeing this is kind of very impressive. But of course, Effie somehow was able to take advantage of it and win this match. Now, we don't know what goes on in Effie's head, but to be honest with you, I feel like, is he a heel? Is he a face? Or is he a tweener? Now, those who don't know what a tweener is, I'll explain that to you. Tweener is you can act like a bad guy but play as a good guy, or you play as a good guy, act like you act like a bad guy but you play as a good guy. So basically, it's any way goes, but it's how it's been. Has there any been tweeners? Yes, there has been, but it's a long list. But I don't want to do that. But Effie really took this match really good. Um, I was like, wow. Next match, we got Starboy Charlie versus Jordan Oliver. Now, Starboy Charlie is very impressive. As you guys don't know, he somehow was able to beat, what's his name? Um, Chris Dickinson. It was one of the most well recognized matches, and now he's facing another young wrestler who, in the other hand, we all know he's impressive as well. We're talking about Jordan Oliver. I have to say, Jordan Oliver put up a good match on this one with Starboy. Now, I can say Starboy could be, how do I say, a star in the making. And Jordan Oliver, he's already well known throughout anywhere in any promotion that we mostly watch. But yeah, but it was Jordan Oliver that won this one. Next match, we got Alley Catch versus AJ Gray. Now, I have to say, Alley Catch, she is one tough cookie. You know, I am always been impressed by her. Like, you can, those who say women like her don't belong in matches like GCW, I have to say, I disagree. But the way she took a beating from AJ Gray, that says it all. But despite AJ Gray is one of the most interesting wrestlers I've ever watched, I cannot deny his ability as all. I mean, being wrestling in straight up or in death matches or in hardcore, it doesn't matter. But the guy knows how to put up a good show. But it was him who defeated Alley Catch. I mean, as much as I like Alley Catch, AJ Gray took the victory on this one. The next match we got, of course, the finesse Chris Bay taking on Too Cold Scorpio. I mean, I have to say, this showed a lot of Chris Bay taking on a veteran like Too Cold Scorpio. I was impressed with the match in every aspect because you got the younger generation taking on an old school generation. But the real question is which one will come on top, and this one became Chris Bay's favor. But in the end of the match, he got the respect from Too Cold. And to be honest with you guys, I'm kind of hoping, when will he be wearing his Bullet Club gear right now? Because he was doing the Too Sweet sign with the fans, as you guys know, if you guys noticed. But that's how it was. So we'll see what happens then. Now we get to the main event, which is a six-man tag team match. We have one corner, the most hated group in GCW, or should I say what people say, F Ohio 440, consistent of RSP, um, Eric Ryan, and of course Acticus Kroger, who I like to call Nutjob, taking on the second gear crew, Matthew Justice and Mance Warner, teaming up with the King and his MDK all day, Mr. Nick Gage. The match, you can tell this is a very heated rivalry. This match has been proven many times over with guys like 440 trying to prove they are the most dominant force ever. And they wanted to prove that for a long time, ever since they defeated Nick Gage away from the GCW World Title. But this time, their war will take place at Art of War for the War Games. This is another match, but this is more like a warm up. However, this match won in favor of 440, but of course, it led with RSP running like a coward, watching both Eric and Acticus get their butts kicked, or should I say, get all the toys ever, light tubes, everything, bleeding out. So it didn't matter if, you know, Team MDK lost. They'll brutalize them. That's what matters. So I have to say, maybe 440 may have won this one, but it's MDK that actually gave the strong message that they're not going to go down that easily, despite what 440 thinks or what they do. So we got to wait till we get to the Art of War. So we'll see you the next time for that. Okay, so this is day 2 without Emi Sakura, and I want to give you guys the good news. Lulu Pencil is now safely in the United States. I just saw on Twitter Emi Sakura greeted her, so Lulu Pencil is fine. So we may not see her for probably the same amount of time as Emi Sakura. But however, their shows must continue on. So this is the second time, of course, we see Emi Sakura not there with Chocopro. But it doesn't mean that they're gonna stop talking about her. Of course, they're very proud of her now that we saw her recently in AEW Dark Elevation and in a match against Maddie Rutkowski. So I have to say, let's see what happens then. But the opening match is a tag team match. We got Yuna Mizumori teaming with DDT's Masahiro Takanashi, taking on Kiko Kirihara and the Sumo Hoshitago. Now this match, I didn't see much of Hoshitago on this one. I mean, yes, he was there, but I asked myself, I don't know if a sumo guy can fit in to this type of match, but anything happened. And I have to say, it's one of the most interesting matches to watch because I feel like much of this was like a handicap because it feels like more of um, Kokihiro. No, what's her name? Uh, Tokiko was mostly doing all the work, not being judgmental, but that's what it looks to me. But however, it was in fact Yuna Mizumori who picked up the victory, allowing for herself and Takanashi to win the match. The next match we have another tag team. We got, of course, Sawudari Kamen and of course Akari taking on my favorite tag team in Chocopro, the Best Bros, Balinaki and Mei Shuruga. It was very interesting match because Mei Shuruga always wanted to wrestle against Akari. Now, even though this is a tag team match, hopefully one day we'll see them in a singles competition. This is something that I definitely would enjoy a whole lot. So Do I think this is going to be good? Yes. It's fun, but somehow, in some way, whenever the Best Bros are facing the toughest challengers, they always come on top. Even if they're new, you know that there's not a whole lot to expect because you don't know what they'll pull off. But that's exactly what they did in this particular show. So, Best Bros, good job. And I can't wait to see you guys in the following episode for that. Now we get to the main event. We got All Energy Chiko Shikawa taking on the veteran. You may know her as Def Yamasan. Kokigen Def, now Fukigen Def. We're talking about, of course, Kaori Yoneyama. She is one of the most well decorated high speed wrestlers in all of Yoshi Pro Wrestling, everywhere in the world. She has her own promotion. She's been with many. She's a freelancer, not officially with Stardom. You may see her in either in Oz Academy or PRJ or anywhere in any promotion. And you cannot deny her enthusiasm, however you want to call it, or her characteristic or her ways of wrestling against someone who's all energy, Chiko Shikawa. She tried her best, but in the end, it's always the veteran that wins, and there's nothing wrong with that, because this match was good, even though Chiko Shikawa may not take this lightly, but she can learn from it. Now let's go to Jokin Tournament. Jokin Tournament. It was a pretty good tournament, but the real question who was going to win, and I did not expect it. It was Yuna Mizumori, so she won the piece of chocolate. So if you guys never seen the Jokin Tournament, watch after the matches and you'll see why. It's like rock paper scissors tournament. I mean, it's pretty fun. I enjoy it. I wish I could do a show like that with Chocopro, but I don't think I got the resources. But so we're gonna get ready for 147 on the following episode. Okay, the last thing I'm going to review is WWE SummerSlam. Now, I keep saying this to everybody. I don't watch Raw or SmackDown, but I try to keep up what's going on, just to stay in touch with what's going. But stay with me. The opening match was for the Raw Tag Team titles between RK Bro, Riddle, and Orton taking on AJ Styles and Almas. I have to say, a very interesting match because you don't know what to expect with a team like RK Bro. Now, you can say it's a real fun, odd couple type of tag team because we've seen that many times over. It doesn't matter if it's in WWE or Impact Wrestling or NWA or AEW, it doesn't matter. But it's a very interesting tag team because Riddle always says, bro. But yeah. But I was surprised how this ended. I did not expect it. It was Randy Orton who picked up the pin on AJ, allowing himself to win the Raw Tag Team title. So we have brand new titles. Do I think this match was good? Yes, because we are seeing a new tag team. But the real question, many say, how long will they last? I don't know, but we are just going to wait and see what's going to happen down the road. Now the next match, this is between Eva Marie with the Doudrop taking on Alexa Bliss. As you know, I've been hearing they've been going at it many times over, trying to play mess with her. And of course, Lily was there, but of course, Eva Marie decides to touch Lily, and Alexa Bliss is not a happy camper with it. As you know, she can get a little frustrated with people touching Lily, but it is how it goes. But however, somehow Eva Marie's little enforcer didn't do a thing. I don't know what Alexa Bliss did to her, but she must have cast a spell, allowing herself to win the match. And Drought told in the drop actually said she's free. Walked away with Eva Marie's robe. I'm like, what? Now, do I think this is a good match? To be honest with you, I give it maybe a 7. 6 or 7, I don't know. But it's not one I definitely would enjoy. The next match is for the United States title. This is between Damian Priest and Sheamus. Now, I've been a fan of Damian Priest on different ways when he was known as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor, and then going to NXT when he actually won the North American title. And I feel that he showed a lot of character. Not to mention his role siding with Bad Bunny. It's one of the most interesting matches, but him facing against Sheamus, because it's one of the most matches that you know, oh man, this is good. Basically, you got Sheamus who is wearing a face guard, but somehow Damian Priest removed that mask and allow himself to win the match and become the United States title. What do I think of this, man? I say I give it about maybe somewhere between an 8.5 to a 9. It was a really good one, and I feel that he deserves to have some WWE gold around his waist, and I feel like he's a star in the making. Now, the next match we have for the SmackDown Tag Team titles, we got the Mysterios, Dominic and Rey teaming up, taking on the Usos. Now, things could happen. Last time, from what I understand, Dominic kind of messed things up for his dad. He told him to stay focused. It kind of felt in that way, but however, the Usos continue to prove they are one of the most dominant tag teams, and I think we could do. But however, do we think they should drop the titles now? Because we always seen those stories where we seen those factions, like, of course, the Bloodline, they become the dominant force, and I think that's probably why they retain the titles. I don't think they're ready to be dropped, but um, I know that I heard rumors that Rey Mysterio is thinking about reforming a new version of Latino World Order, and I say it'll be good. But I say we'll wait to see what happens if WWE accepts that. But even though the Usos retain the titles. Now, this next match was a very disappointing situation. As we know, we were supposed to have Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title. Then Carmella shows up trying to say she'll take her place, trying to reclaim a title that she felt that rightfully belongs to her. But the biggest surprise was none other than the return of the man, Becky Lynch. We haven't heard from her or seen her since last year after Money at the Bank, where she announced to the world she was pregnant. Of course, she has a healthy little girl, and we do know she's engaged to be married to Seth Rollins. But it's great to see the pop come out, seeing her back, enjoying it. However, this became a very interesting situation. She comes out, Carmella was not happy, but Becky Lynch thought the best way to make things interesting, get rid of the one person that nobody wanted and put her in. I feel like it kind of told the story. Fans did not want Carmella, Becky Lynch. I can settle with her. That's how it felt. It's like saying, I don't know, Carmella, I don't feel it. But seeing Becky Lynch, like, okay, I'll settle with this one. I'll settle with this one. That's what it felt. I don't know if that's what you guys felt, and it was pretty good. It went that way, so it became Becky Lynch versus Bianca Belair for the SmackDown Women's title. I don't know how this happened. It went out quick. Now, do we think this was on purpose? I don't know. But if it did, maybe there's a solid explanation. If there's any uh, reviews about that, it could tell us. But I haven't got the chance to look into that. But probably will put it out. Now we got Jinder Mahal versus Drake, Drew McIntyre. I have to say it was a very interesting match, but I wasn't too much feel on this one, to be honest with you. It felt like, just like any other special grudge match. But however, I had that feeling that Drew McIntyre was going to win this one regardless, and that's what he did. And I felt that it was a good moment to him to win. When he pulled up the Claymore, 1, 2, 3, he was out. Now the next match is a women for the Raw's women titles in a triple threat match between Rhea Ripley, Charlotte Flair, and of course Nikki Ash, or as we know her, almost a superhero. Now, some people say maybe Nikki Ash, her becoming the champion was probably premature. Now, I could intend to agree with that in every aspect. But however, we need to look at it at another perspective. Like maybe it was premature or pre-planned. Like maybe WWE officials might have thought, okay, maybe she will not hold the title that long. It could happen. Anything could happen during those times. But however, I feel like giving the title to either Rhea Ripley or Charlotte would make more sense. And of course, it did when, of course, Charlotte actually applied the figure eight leg lock onto Nikki Ash and forced her to tap out. Now, we can expect Nikki Ash to cash in her rematch, but will that happen on Monday? We don't know. We'll find out when it happens. Now, the next match is a special grudge match, but this one is the big one. We have Seth Rollins taking on Edge, and Edge went back in time to his Brood ways. Man, I miss the Brood. Him, Christian, Gangrel, I miss that. I have to say it was one of the most best entrants I've seen so far. And the thing is, I appreciate much of the past what they've done. I know some people say, but we gotta look into the future. That is true, but appreciate the past, and I think that's what they did. And I think it showed like Edge went back to his dark days, and I think that's what allowed him to win the match when he put Seth Rollins out to prove a point to show him that he belongs there, regardless what Seth Rollins would think. So I have to say, good match. Now the next match we have WWE title between Bobby Lashley and Goldberg. Now the match had to be called off because somewhere down the line Goldberg got his knee injured and all this, and Bobby Lashley continues to assault him. Gage shows up, try to help his dad, but of course Lashley put him in the hurt lock, or should I say in the Nelson lock. And when that happened, of course, um, what's his name? MVP saying that could have been anybody. That could have been nope. It was Gage's son. It was Gage, Goldberg's son. But do we think this is far from over between Lashley and Goldberg? I don't know. Do we think we could see a part two of this match? Maybe. But it all depends how this will play out afterwards when we get to Monday. Now let's get to the main event between John Cena and Roman Reigns. I have to say, best match. I have to say because it went a little longer than I expected because we need to be honest. Do we expect for Roman Reigns to drop the title? The answer to that, I don't know. It could have happened, but I'm glad it didn't because I'll explain later. It kind of feels maybe it wasn't the right moment, but however, having Roman Reigns to retain the title, it would. However, as soon as he won the match, all of a sudden, the Beast, Brock Lesnar, shows up, and it could tell that this is far from over because if you guys recall history, Roman Reigns did defeat Brock Lesnar once before. This could be a payback for that. And of course, Paul Heyman act like he's seeing a ghost, so he's scared of Brock Lesnar. But I have to say the John Cena versus Roman Reigns match is also one of the best ones I've seen. I give it a 10, 9.5 or 10 on that. I was like, wow, really longer one, and I enjoyed a lot. So I can't wait to see what's gonna happen. Are we really gonna see Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns? We'll see what happens on SmackDown. Now I don't watch it, but I will keep tabs on what goes on both Raw and SmackDown. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed me reviewing these events. As I mentioned before, this weekend is stack of wrestling. There's a lot of things that took place. Um, just to give you guys a heads up, we are continuing with more with Gatoh Move Pro Wrestling with their latest Chocopro event, and it's also Chris Brooks' birthday. And we got more on WWE's NXT Takeover 36. I may do that last, but there is a chance I may put in two more other wrestling events, or maybe one. It all depends how my day goes. It's either going to be Warrior Wrestling with the stadium or slash Switchblade series, or I'll add in, of course, Future Stars of Wrestling versus GCW. Who knows? So I'm excited for these events that I definitely need to review for all of you and enjoy, and I need to watch them very carefully. But for now, I'll see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.